So, good morning, everybody. My name is Josett. I am so excited that you're here and that you're taking the time out of your day to hang out with us watching this video. Today, I have with me Anthony Thomas, and he is with Solita's house. And today, we're going to be talking all about Solita's house because I know a lot of people don't know about it, and I just want to put it out there. There's so many programs out there that are available for first-time home buyers, and for some, you don't even have to be a first-time home buyer, but many people don't know about it. So that's what we are going to be talking about today. So let me introduce to you, without further ado, Mr. Anthony Thomas. Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about what Solita's house is and what it does.
Sure, no problem. Thank you, Josette, for inviting me. Um, as you said, my name is Anthony Thomas. I'm with Solitas House, and my role at the organization is I'm one of the co-founders. Aixa, Antonio Thomas, and myself, we did found the agency back in we just had a birthday, June
Yeah.
26th, 19 years. And Solitas House, well, it started more or less like just on education.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to, IXA wanted to educate Latino borrowers. She felt that the education models weren't sufficient for Latino borrowers. Um, Me tagging along, I was educating the English buyers, and then we kind of morphed into a housing counseling agency, providing guidance to get people mortgage ready. And from there, once we got certified as a 501c3 and a HUD housing counseling agency, we kind of morphed into what's called a CDFI. And a lot of people don't know about that, but it's a community development financial institution. So it's an agency that's supported by the U.S. Treasury and the CDFI fund. And so what it means is you're basically a lender, right? And so it's the weirdest thing how this came about, because at this time in Tampa in Florida, um, the payday lending piece was crazy. It was rampant in our area. And so we did a couple focus groups and found out why people do payday loans, and if they were
Mm-hmm.
going to borrow money, where would they borrow it from? And we found out like they didn't have a whole lot of outlets. And so we made sure that we kind of created a product that would work for them. And the very first product that we created as a lender was a credit builder loan. And this
Ooh,
was a loan for $150. And people paid back $12.50 per month. And we
wow.
reported that to the credit bureaus. And so what happens is like those payments every month when we report them, people's credit scores start going up. And it was funny because after the focus group, like this was more important to them than the payday loans. So it wasn't that long after where we created a payday loan alternative where we would loan a client, let's say $500, and the $500 was paid back in 6 months. However, the loan term was for 12 months. So they made payments to us for 12 straight months, but the loan was paid back in six. And
Mm-hmm.
those next six payments, we saved it for them. So at
Awesome.
the, so at the end of the 12 months, we would give them back 6 months of savings, and they never need another payday loan again.
It's cool.
So, so it worked out, and then we later started doing mortgage lending at as a CDFI, and then we started to create some down payment assistance products. And me, in my background, coming from Wells Fargo, and I was the renovation
Mm-hmm.
manager there, and so 203Ks were like my normal thing. And so, but I realized that even back then and now, the 203K program didn't have a down payment assistance product that could be used with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we created a down payment assistance product that we called the SHI Pro.
Mm,
So that was down payment assistance that could be used for your purchase renovation transaction. And then we also had a down payment assistance called DPAL, DPAL, and that was used for your regular transactions. And so these down payment assistance products can be layered with other programs. So Solitas House over the years developed a nice relationship with the city of Tampa.
mm,
And so at with that relationship, we kind of had a seat at the table to know about what was happening with down payment assistance and where it was going. And so we were always utilizing that program, and sometimes we would get calls about other programs from the city that they wanted to pilot. And
mm.
so oftentimes some of our clients would get extra down payment assistance with their city of Tampa down payment assistance. So it worked out a lot. And so still come full circle today, we're now the state leader as far as layered down payment assistance subsidies on a single transaction, four
Wow.
different times over. So we've broken our own record each time.
Yeah. Yeah. So the buyers are able to get a lot more help than if they went with a traditional lender, right?
Yes, yes, because we had our own down payment assistance. Then we had the city of Tampa's DARE program, the city of Tampa CRA program, and
Hmm.
then any other down payment assistance the city offered. And I don't know, if you remember when the city was doing their infill program,
Hmm.
and the city had they had given the builders an option to say, hey, you can use this to subsidize the cost of your house, or you could leave the cost of your house to regular price and give that $75,000
To the
to the
buyer.
client.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of developers chose to give it to the buyers. And so that also helped during that time for the amount of layered subsidy we were able to use.
Awesome. And because you had all these connections, Anthony, did it make it easier for your buyers to actually find properties that were not even on the market yet because you had the connections with the builders and all of that?
Yeah, so there was a developer. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. Are Rebuilding Together Tampa Bay,
Mm,
and so they were part of the mayor's program, but they were also doing their own things. And so we partnered with that developer to write a grant with the Federal Home Loan Bank out of Atlanta,
hmm.
and those properties. It was for 10 homes. All 10 of those homes were never listed on the market. They were never in MLS. And so all of our buyers, except for one, so 9 of the 10 homes were purchased by our buyers with our mortgage loan product.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And that's kind of what we want to make, knowledgeable to the people out there is that there are ways to find homes that are not yet listed on the MLS that makes it even more affordable for them, the client, right?
Yes. Yes, it's absolutely very possible. And I need your buyers to be aware to stay tuned because we've got another loan program that we're going to be launching. I'd probably say quarter 1 of 2026.
Oh, wow.
uh, that is going to also help to make homes more affordable. And these homes will not be on the market. They're more, again, exclusive.
Awesome, awesome. So what are some of, the requirements? What would a buyer need to know or need to do to use your team or to use Solita's house? That way they can utilize all the extra, assistance that are available. What are some of the requirements for the buyer?
I probably say, and I don't know how this is going to sound, but we can't want home ownership more than the buyer wants home ownership.
Hmm.
And so the engagement, the communication is really, really important. And so we help anyone that wants help, but we close a file quick. That means if you're not responsive, if you're not providing what we need, we close your file and or
You have to
suggest
start all
another
over
agent.
again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so clients get often upset about that, but this is how we work. And it works well for us to work with clients that want this, more than we want it. And
Mhm.
so the other general programmatic uh, uh, requirements would be just the you need to be a city of Tampa resident for their DARE. You need to
Mm,
have a 600 middle credit score
mhm,
for the DARE program, and you need to have a $2,000 minimum investment. These
mhm.
are DARE requirements.
Yeah.
So City of Tampa has their thing, and then Solitas House. Keep in mind, we are not discriminating against any borrower
Mm,
at any credit score with any amount of assets because our HUD housing counseling side can help build you up.
okay.
They could help you save money. They could help you increase your credit score. So those aren't our requirements, but there are some requirements to some of the programs that you may be seeking.
Okay. Do they need any kind of like shock payments? Like usually, for example, something like NACA would recommend that you have like 6 months of savings, basically to if you were renting a house that was 1,500 and now your mortgage is going to be 2,000, then you need to kind of show that you're able to have that extra $500. Do you do that or how does that work for you?
No, but I think that's important for buyers to be
Yeah.
smart because that's common sense approach
Uh-huh.
to underwriting for underwritings. And so a lot of buyers don't understand how payment shock works, but
Hmm.
lenders take that very seriously
Hmm.
because it's a threat to their mortgage. And
Hmm.
so they want you to be smart on your affordability. And this is why understanding debt to income ratios and all that are important
Yes.
because what I tell clients this often, just that what you what your affordable payment is to you may
Mm,
not be the same as what your income and debt deem to be affordable.
it's true.
So they could be two different things. What you want to pay a month and what your affordability is could be two separate things.
That is true. And that's why you guys have the home buyer education that is mandatory with you guys, right?
Yes, we encourage everybody, and this is at all income levels. It
Mm,
doesn't matter all income levels. It doesn't matter if you purchased a home before. You could be just missing out on some benefits. Like people don't always know. Like, wow, I didn't know you need to be that the first time homebuyer requirement wasn't applicable to this program or that program, but there are several, so and then for the same thing for income limits, people disqualify themselves often because they say, well, I make over $100,000 a year. Well, but you've got a household of four,
hmm.
so you don't disqualify yourself because some programs don't have any income restrictions at all.
That's true.
So yeah, so be cognizant of that, and it's we want to try to help as many people as we can.
Awesome, awesome. So, and that's the thing that you guys are a little bit, you're teaching people not just how to buy a house, but how to maintain it, how to keep it over a long period of time. And that's why you go through the home education process. Does that also include the credit improvement process? Is that all one thing or is that two separate things?
Yeah, I think it's separate because you get more detailed and defined into your credit reporting journey when you
Mm,
enter in housing counseling services. And
okay.
the housing counselor then becomes your credit whisperer,
Mm-hmm.
and they start to guide you on how
Credit
to increase
whisperer, I
your
like that.
yeah, yes.
Okay, cool. Do they have to pay anything extra for the credit part of it? Like the credit?
No,
Oh,
no. So Josette, and I don't know if clients know this, like your services at our agency could be free forever.
mm,
And so it just depends on you. Then the way that it works is the gateway into our agency is through a workshop. And it's one
mm,
of two workshops, right? One of two. So you're going to be home buyer education. That means that you're going to be buying in the next 12 months, or
uh-huh.
you're going to be financial literacy. that means you don't know when you're going to be buying.
Mm,
But it's definitely probably over 12 months. And
good.
so that's the gateway into the agency. And either one of those workshops gets you your first 4 sessions free.
Mm,
And if you use all those four, the housing counselor simply sends me an email to request more sessions.
mm.
And that's it. So it could be free.
Awesome. So, okay, you said that it could be free. Do you have to be a first-time home buyer to utilize Solita's house?
No, not at all. So it doesn't matter on if you've owned before, and it doesn't matter what income level you're at.
Mm,
Um, that we help any client progress and become empowered.
awesome. Awesome. Wow. So how long does it usually take? I know you did mention the 6 month and the 12 month you know, differences, but how long if somebody was going to say, okay, I want to buy a house? Because sometimes people feel like when you're using down payment assistance, that it can take a little bit longer, the buying process. How long does it usually take to go from even like getting on the contract to closing? How long does that take?
So it's going to be different for everyone, and I'm sure you probably get this same question a lot.
Yes.
How long does it take? And it's not that easy to answer
Hmm.
because everybody's moves different. Everybody's income levels are different, credit scores different, debt levels are different. But we ran an average close time
Hmm.
uh, many years ago, and it was 9 sessions
Okay.
that most of our clients did before they were able to purchase. And so, on average, on the clients that were able to purchase, there were like 9 sessions. And so, that's the best answer I could get outside of it being different for everyone.
Awesome. Do you guys do all types of loan like the VA loan, the USDA, FHA? What kind of loan products do you do?
We do it all. We do conventional FHA, VA, USDA, and purchase renovation.
Awesome.
Then we have a specialty portfolio loan product called Champ, and
Mm.
that's our portfolio product that only requires a 1% down payment, and it doesn't carry any private mortgage insurance, and it also has an additional $20,000 in down payment
Oh,
assistance
wow.
that could be used with it. So that's our premier product that we're using right now.
Okay, great. And what are the requirements for that to be able to use the CHAMP program?
Yeah, that's got a 640 mid score, and um, you can be up to 185% on area median income as long as you're buying in a target area. And if you're not in a target area, then it's 80% area median income.
Awesome. Can you explain a little bit about what a target area is? Because some people might not know what that is.
Sure, sure. So a target area is an area that is done by the census, as such, based on the income levels of the neighborhood and the census tracts of where the properties are. And so it's an average of the incomes of the households and the household sizes
Mm-hmm.
based on a particular area. And
Oh,
so they would deem that a low to moderate income census tract or uh, area, median income area.
all righty, cool. One of the things you mentioned is that you said that the clients have to be in the city of Tampa or in the CRA areas. But do you guys loan outside of the Tampa Bay area, outside of
Yeah.
Tampa?
Yes, often we do. We get a lot of calls from South Florida area, and that South Florida area, like Miami, Fort Lauderdale,
Mm,
um, Palm Beach area for down payment assistance. So our down payment assistance is a standalone down payment assistance.
mm,
So even though a client does not use Solitas House as their lender, we
mm.
can still do down payment assistance for a particular client if the numbers work out.
Oh,
So it just so happens in South Florida, the the numbers are always workable for us.
mm-hmm.
So we do a lot of down payment assistance in that area. So the short answer is we can lend statewide.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. So I know with you and we just closed recently on a client and he had like $112,000 in assistance. What is the highest amount that you've seen one client actually obtain using Solita's house?
225.
That's like a whole, that's
Yeah,
like a
200.
whole, wow.
Yeah, 225,000. And that's where the record is today. And
Oh,
that's
wow.
one of our clients. The
Oh,
record
wow.
before that was
Mm.
two clients, one at 215 and one at 217, and they are neighbors.
Wow. You know how low that mortgage is, right?
Yes,
That
yes,
mortgage, you don't find that these days at all.
yes, yes.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. So now with these programs, are all of these programs um repayable or are they like grants or can you explain what some of them involve?
I think that's important. That's a great question. I think it's important that people get that terminology right because a grant is different from a soft second, and a soft second is different from a loan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's three real terms that are out there in regards to down payment assistance. Number one is the loan, and it's just that
You have to
you
pay it
pay it
back.
back. You
Yes.
got monthly payments. An example of that would be our DPAL loan,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so number two is what's called a soft second. And a soft second is you pay it back under certain conditions, meaning if you fail to occupy the property, you have to pay the money back.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no payments on it during the duration, and it could be forgivable after a certain period of time. That's
Mm-hmm.
the soft second, meaning it's a lien, but it's a
Yeah.
lien with no payments, and it's just going to be sitting there
Yeah.
as long as you follow the guidelines. So the third one is a grant, and a grant is the best type, although they're rare. But it's like finding a paper bag of money on the street and say, "Hey, as long as you buy a house, you can have me for free." Right? There's no mortgage
Yes.
attached or anything to the property.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an example of that would be the Realtor Care Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
They do grants.
Yep. Yeah, cool. And so, with the people that are using these programs, do they have to have like any certain limit on how much they can get or how much money they make so that they can qualify for set, whether it be a grant or whether it be a loan? Is it based on your income?
Yeah, it's based off of a few things. And so we talk about this a lot in homebuyer education. There's a couple ways to look at the income from the way of affordability,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can also look at the income by way of eligibility. So affordability and eligibility, right? And so with down payment assistance, they calculate the income based on eligibility. So the way that they calculate your income could be based on the future income, right? And the lender, when we look at your income, what is it today? What's your hourly rate? That's your affordability. So the way that they're looking at the income is different oftentimes for down payment assistance programs because they're also could be taking your household size into consideration. And if anybody else is earning money, whereas for the lender, we only care about who's on the application. So it could be different depending on the program. Some programs look at the household, and some programs look at who's going to be on the mortgage application. So it's different depending on the program.
Awesome. So, what is the one piece of advice you would give to someone who is dreaming of owning a home, but they're not sure where to start? What would be the one piece of advice you would give to them?
Be a good steward of information.
Yes.
Be patient, and stay engaged in your process.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the top pieces of information and words of advice I would give to a client. You got to be a good steward of information. Some people come into home ownership and leave it all to the experts. You know, you're an expert, and I'm going to just trust you with my hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, might work for some people, but it's not what I would recommend.
Mm. Yeah, cool. So how can someone get a hold of you guys? Where should they start? Let's say, how can they connect with you?
Sure. I'm a texter,
Your
so
texter.
I'm a texter. I text all day long,
You-
and so my cell phone number 813-477-2401. And
Awesome.
our office is on 1029 East Hillsborough Avenue.
Mhm.
And that office line is 813-425-4847. And then, of course,
Awesome.
many people register right there on our website for a lot of programs and
Yeah.
services we have. And so that's solitashouse.org.
Yeah. All
So
righty. Cool.
mhm.
Awesome. And I do usually they reach out to me and I just text them your number. I just say
Yeah,
call me.
yeah. And I respond as soon as I
I
can.
just like call him. If you don't answer, he'll call you back. But
Definitely.
we love what you're doing. We love how you are making home ownership so possible for people who probably would not have even thought about it had they not have the opportunity to come into this with the knowledge and the education that you are providing. Now, I know most lenders and lending companies usually always charge some kind of fees, whether it be, mortgage fees or any of that, servicing fees. Do you charge any fee to work with you at all?
Okay, so on our mortgage loan product, we have your typical closing costs because we have those same fees: origination,
Mm-hmm.
credit report, your mortgage policy for title. So it's typical closing costs
Mm-hmm.
that you would see on any other transaction. But the difference is that there's not an act of Congress to negotiate those. Because
Okay.
us as a CDFI, we can negotiate those fees fairly freely.
Awesome. Awesome. So, this is my final question because we really just ran through this because you keep answering all my questions before I ask them. So now I'm just see, I had a whole page. You see, I
Oh
had a
my
whole page.
God.
There's 20 questions on there. And how many did I ask? Not at all, because once you give us, especially through the education and the introduction, telling us who Solita's house is and what they do and how they help buyers, you've covered all of that, right? You're
Okay.
looking for, it really gives the little man, for lack of a better way to put it, or the person that probably never had thought about it, gives them
Yeah.
that chance, opens up their eyes, cause them to start dreaming again. And sometimes that's all you need. Once you can get
Yeah.
somebody to start dreaming, you give them a little hope. And once
Yeah.
they have hope, they can start putting the action towards the hope that they have. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. How can we as a community, as other realtors, I know I do talk a lot about Solita's house. I have a lot of people that call and want to know a little bit more. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing that. But how can we as realtors or just people in general support or spread the word about Solita's house?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because in the end, Solitas House is a nonprofit. And the way that the economy is right now and the climate of the financial markets, it's hard for us. And so we need our only line of business is the mortgages that we originate. That's how we create income for our agency, in addition to our grant writing and our U.S. Treasury support. But so that support as a realtor, like you thinking of us on your transactions and giving us an opportunity to quote a client or to work with your client is awesome. Also, your time and talents.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a loan committee, we have a community action committee, and we have a board of directors. So if you have maybe 5 hours a month, those committees and boards also could use your time and talents.
Wonderful, wonderful. And definitely want to put that out there for anybody looking to do some even community work. This
Yes.
is probably an avenue that they can use to do that. So what's your final statement to buyers, people that are looking, even renters, people that are just thinking about it or not even thinking about it, what would be your final thing that you wanted to say to them?
You know, we say this in homebuyer education already, all the time, and I'd say stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You know, so get your documents in line, start preparing yourself. You know, it's time to get some adulting done and stay ready because rates are not going to always be what the rates are. The prices of the homes are not going to be what they are today all the time. Things are changing. And so just stay ready and so you don't have to get ready. Because if I had a deal today for a $150,000 house, if you don't have all your stuff together, somebody else is going to get that. You
Yeah.
know, so stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Awesome. It's like me telling my buyers sometimes when we go house hunting, I'm like, make sure that you are always ready to make the offer. Because if you find a house that you like and you're like, I'm going to go home and sleep on it. Well, another buyer seen that house yesterday. They went home and sleep on it. So they're going to wake up with a decision while you're still trying to make one. So always be ready if you're doing that. But also, my final words for people that are looking at us right now, and I know I do have a lot of first time home buyers follow me on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. My final word for you is to not give up on yourself, right? Sometimes we look at our situations and we say, I'll never be able to do XYZ. I'll never be able to own a home, but you're constantly paying your landlord like clockwork. $2,500 a month, right? That is a mortgage payment right there. You're paying your landlord $2,500. You're still paying all the utilities and all of those things that you would normally do as a homeowner. So why not just take a chance on yourself and invest in yourself? It might take you a little bit longer to get there, but if you have that confidence in yourself that you can do all things, we can help you get to the finish line. You're not judging your accomplishment based on others. It's just what is working for you right now. So your mama and your sister and them, they might have never want to be homeowners, but you can break that cycle. And it only takes one decision. Once you make that decision and you are committed to the steps, it can take you a year, it can take you 2 years, but it can also take you 6 months or 3 months or even 45 days, and you can get it done. So, Anthony,
Yes.
thank you so much. If do you have anything else that you want to you like to do this?
No, no, that
I
is
think I'm gonna
awesome.
steal that from
Yeah,
you.
those words hit hard. That's the
Oh,
truth.
goodness. Yeah, well, thank you so much. We'll have to do this again in person.
Yes.
We can highlight some more things, break down the programs, one program
Okay.
at a time. We'll probably do that because I really
Okay.
want to probably just do something on the CHAMP program,
Okay.
1% down. Want to just sit down and just do something specific program by program and just
Sure.
highlight the program by themselves. But I really appreciate you
Yeah.
taking the time out of your day to hang out with me this morning and talk to some first-time home buyers. We like to bring hope. This, if we're not changing people's lives, we're not doing our jobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And our job is to leave them better than we found them. And that's
Yes.
what we're all about. So thank you
Yes.
so
I
much.
love
I really appreciate it. And I hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you, Josette.
All
Thank
righty.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
All righty, guys. And don't forget, guys, to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want all the information about first-time home buying programs, where to go, how to go, all the agencies that are offering the home buyer education and all the good stuff. You want the sauce? Follow this channel. Talk to you soon. Bye.